So who is this guy? This is Christopher Hitchens. He's somebody who wouldn't be so interested in making a nuanced argument on religion. Christopher Hitchens was a self-proclaimed extremist atheist, and he had lots of quite shocking things to say, especially if you want to, that might be useful, especially if you want to go down the route of saying belief in God isn't a rewarding experience. So the 19 suicide murderers of New York and Washington and Pennsylvania, so he's talking about the 9/11 terror attacks here, were beyond any doubt the most sincere believers on those planes. Perhaps we can hear a little less about how people of faith possess moral advantages that others can only envy. So certainly this is quite a strong rebuttal to the idea that religion and belief in God provides some sort of moral structure which is rewarding for the believers. He argues that very, very strong belief leads to things such as the 9/11 terror attacks. Of course, you could rebut this saying, how is he to judge the strength of the terrorist beliefs in comparison to the beliefs of any other people on those planes, which didn't lead them to commit acts of terror. He's just making the point that the terrorists were the strongest believers for a polemical reason, that who is to come up with, how could he possibly come up with a metric for measuring the strength of people's beliefs based on outcomes such as that? That would perhaps be the way you'd refute his argument here. And then, still on the topic of 9/11, this is quite a long quote, so I won't read it all out. Essentially, what he's saying is that the believers' responses to these terror attacks, where they try to comfort themselves with the notion that the believers have gone to heaven, the believers who were the victims of these terror attacks have gone to heaven. He also condemns this. So at the end, he says, but there was also something sinister in hearing detailed claims to knowledge of paradise of the sort that bin Laden himself was making on behalf of the assassins. So he was comparing the statements of a bishop in a memorial service for the victims, saying that he was certain that the victims are in heaven. He was comparing that to the certainty that the bin Laden, the organizer of the 9/11 terror attacks, showed, saying that his terrorist employees would also go to heaven for sure. So drawing that kind of links, and you can see where this argument goes in the context of this question. If you're interested in Christopher Hitchens, and lots of people are because he has a very striking and controversial way of writing, then just be aware that he isn't necessarily a top academic on these things. He's just quite a provocative writer. So here's a quote that I found on Wikipedia, actually, in a review, which I found quite funny. So Daniel C. Peterson attacked the accuracy of Hitchenson's claims in this book, which I've read from you, in a lengthy essay describing it as crammed to the bursting point with errors. And the striking thing about this is that the errors are always in Hitchens' favor. In many cases, Hitchens is 180 degrees wrong. He is so far wrong that if he moved at all, he would be coming back toward right. So quite a strong rebuttal. And there is some justification for the strength of this rebuttal. Hitchens isn't necessarily a brilliant academic, even though he is very famous.